The cause of death was listed as natural causes following a prolonged illness. The medical examiner disagreed, identifying the presence of a poisonous substance in the deceased system that would have caused acute organ failure and respiratory distress. Forensic toxicology tests revealed elevated levels of digitalis, a cardiac glycoside commonly used to treat heart conditions, but also known for its lethal potential when ingested in excess. This finding was unexpected given the initial medical records indicating no recent changes in prescribed medications. The autopsy further confirmed extensive damage to the myocardium and pulmonary edema consistent with acute poisoning. These findings contradicted the circumstances as reported, leading to an investigation into possible misadministration or intentional ingestion of the toxic substance. That contradiction was not resolved until comprehensive toxicological analysis provided conclusive evidence of digitalis toxicity as the primary cause of death. Chapter: Case Background. The case under investigation involves an unexplained death that occurred on March 15th in a residential apartment complex located in downtown Chicago. The initial report was made by a close family member of the deceased, who had not seen the individual for several days and became concerned when attempts to contact them were unsuccessful. Upon entering the residence with proper authorization, emergency services discovered the deceased lying supine on the living room floor, unresponsive and showing signs of pallor and cold extremities. Initial observations indicated that there was no obvious trauma or external injury present, which led investigators to consider potential non-accidental causes such as poisoning or overdose. The scene lacked any evidence of a struggle or forced entry, further supporting this hypothesis. Given the lack of immediate cause for death apparent from visual inspection, medical personnel were called to conduct an examination and transport the body to the morgue for a thorough autopsy and toxicological analysis. Chapter: Initial findings upon arrival at the residence. First responders noted the deceased in a supine position on the bedroom floor. No external signs of trauma were observed. The body was intact without evidence of physical injury or defensive wounds indicative of foul play. The scene conditions indicated no breaches to security, suggesting an undisturbed location with no apparent forced entry. Initial medical assessment by emergency personnel revealed dilated pupils and cyanosis, consistent with respiratory compromise. The deceased's skin appeared cold to the touch with a bluish hue around the lips and fingertips, indicating hypoxia. These observations prompted immediate transport to the hospital for further evaluation, but unfortunately, resuscitative efforts were unsuccessful. Given the absence of obvious traumatic injuries and the presence of unexplained symptoms, toxicology screening was initiated upon arrival at the medical facility. The initial manner of death was classified as undetermined pending comprehensive forensic investigation due to the suspicious nature of the circumstances surrounding the deceased's condition at the time of discovery. Chapter: Forensic investigation. At the scene, investigators collected various items for toxicological analysis. These included a partially consumed bottle of what appeared to be water, a glass with traces of liquid and residue on its rim, and several unidentified pills located near the deceased's bedside table. Additionally, a small vial containing an unknown clear liquid was found in the deceased's jacket pocket. The collection process adhered strictly to protocol, ensuring each item was meticulously documented and sealed for secure transportation to the laboratory. Notably absent were any containers or labels indicating the presence of known toxic substances, suggesting potential tampering or substitution prior to ingestion by the deceased. This absence, coupled with the unexpected vial in the pocket, highlighted the complexity of establishing a clear chain of custody and the necessity for thorough forensic examination. The toxicological analysis was conducted using gas chromatography mass spectrometry, GCMS, and liquid chromatography tandem mass spectrometry, LCMS/MS, to identify the presence of specific toxins in various biological samples. Comprehensive panels were run for common poisons including organophosphates, heavy metals, and plant-based alkaloids. Detection thresholds were set at 0.1 ng/ml to ensure sensitivity and specificity. Tissue samples from liver, kidney, brain, and heart were analyzed histologically for evidence of cellular damage indicative of poisoning. Microscopic examination revealed signs of vacuolization in hepatic cells and renal tubular epithelial necrosis, consistent with exposure to a hepatotoxic agent. Quantitative analysis confirmed the presence of strychnine at concentrations exceeding toxic levels, particularly evident in liver tissue samples where the concentration measured 50 ng/ml. The analysis of toxicological samples revealed elevated levels of strychnine in the deceased system, confirming a lethal ingestion shortly before death. Forensic evidence from the scene indicated the presence of strychnine residue on a beverage container located near the body, corroborating the timeline established by the onset and duration of symptoms consistent with strychnine poisoning. Postmortem interval was estimated at approximately 6 hours based on rigor mortis progression and livor mortis distribution, with a confidence level of 95%. This timeframe aligns with witness statements placing the deceased in the vicinity of the container around 4 to 5 hours prior to discovery. The timeline confirmed that ingestion occurred during a social gathering, but contradicted initial assumptions about the method of delivery, ruling out covert administration and supporting evidence of direct consumption from the contaminated beverage. The toxicology report revealed the presence of strychnine in the deceased's bloodstream, confirming a lethal dose based on the concentration levels and timing of ingestion relative to death. This finding was corroborated by the presence of strychnine residue on the victim's hands and lips, indicating direct contact shortly before death. The forensic pathologist opined that while the presence of strychnine is conclusive evidence of poisoning, its source remains speculative without additional context regarding potential access or intent. Under oath, the expert would confirm the toxicological findings and their significance in establishing a cause of death due to strychnine toxicity, but would refrain from speculation on perpetrator identity or motive. The precise manner in which the substance was administered, whether orally, through food or drink, or by another means, is not definitively established by the physical evidence alone, requiring further investigative corroboration. Chapter: Resolution upon thorough examination of toxicological specimens obtained post-mortem. A definitive identification of the causative agent responsible for the deceased's demise was established as strychnine, a potent alkaloid known for its convulsant effects. The precise manner in which the substance was administered, whether orally, through food or drink, or by another means, is not definitively established by the physical evidence alone, requiring further investigative corroboration. The initial assessment had indicated poisoning, but lacked specificity regarding the exact substance due to the presence of multiple toxicants in preliminary screenings. However, through advanced analytical techniques including gas chromatography mass spectrometry and liquid chromatography tandem mass spectrometry, strychnine was conclusively isolated from other toxins present in the deceased system. This refinement altered our understanding of the cause of death from a general toxicological event to a specific case of strychnine poisoning. The presence of this substance at high levels within the stomach and liver samples indicated recent ingestion, corroborating findings from witness statements regarding abnormal behavior preceding the incident. These insights provided clarity on both the mechanism and timeline of exposure, underscoring the lethal nature of strychnine when ingested in significant quantities. This case underscores the critical role of comprehensive toxicological analysis in identifying lethal substances, highlighting the necessity for meticulous sample collection and preservation. It reinforces the importance of multidisciplinary collaboration between forensic pathologists and toxicologists to elucidate complex poisoning cases. The file remains open,